semifinal gymnastics tournament. She's on the New Jersey All-Star team. So I flew down to Florida. I used to be nervous every once in a while. I would leave the state or not be around to make sure I was, had access to training in case something happened. What's going to happen? We're never going down. So I saw an article putting out. Josh Brown says the Dow should hit 100,000 in his lifetime. I just want to go out there and want to raise it. I'm going to say 200,000 in my lifetime. So I'm 52. Let's say I live 30 years, right? At an average of about 3.5%, 4%, you're going to get to about $250,000. Has anybody not noticed the market never goes down now? Have you got it now? I think more and more people are realizing it. You can feel it in the market now, right? It's almost like comical when the market goes down, because not only will it not only stay down you can't even stay down for the day, it doesn't even stay down for the hour. And when we go down, you just know it's going to go back up the next day. The complacency might hurt us, because complacency is normally bearish. But here's the thing, what I've learned, nothing's bearish. So now we've had the short squeeze attack on the GameStop and the AMC. It's already been crushed back down to where it came from, like nothing happened. It's not a big deal. This is not even news anymore. Yeah, it's amazing how it went from $12 and hit 80, and now it's back to 20. But do you know how many stocks are out there that have rallied 200 to 300% over the last couple of months that nobody even talks about? Take a look at what Jumama's done. 385 to $8, back to 385, back to $8. There's no news there, right? What about Very? The stock was $1.85 and it went to $9 and then back to $3. Nobody talks about this stuff. It's just like it's like a slow news day that they need to keep talking about AMC and GameStop. Who cares at this point? Really, it's a non-story. It's just ridiculous. The story is that there shouldn't be stock market commentary, because basically any commentary is, if you listen to it closely, they're always giving reasons that the market might not go up. That's it. That's every story. They give reasons why we might not go up, and then we go up. And again, it's kind of funny in a way that we make such a big deal of it when the market crashes and when you're in the heart of it. There are some people out there in the media that say, this too shall pass. You understand this is a buying opportunity. And you know who used to tell me that? My father. My father invented buying on dips. That's why he's a wealthy man. Anytime the market would get down or crash, he'd put whatever he could. And he wasn't a rich guy, but he knew that the big down days, and if they lasted for a month or let alone, a year where we would go flat, those were the years where he would enter the market. So, and the way he would pick mutual funds was pretty good idea. As he explained it to me when I was a kid, he said to me, nobody beats the market. Nobody ever outsmarts the market. And this is a conversation from the 80s, before we went totally crazy into, massive speculation. Everyone's a day trader. Everyone has access to all these different products. You have, supercomputers battling each other in high frequency trading. This goes back before all that. This is going back, I think, let me see, when I was in the 5th grade, so I was 13, he started talking to me about mutual funds. So we're talking about 40 years ago, okay? So we were talking about 1982, 1983. This is pre-87 crash. And he would explain to me, not that I really understood what he was talking about too much at the time, and he said, nobody beats the market. So what he would look for were fund managers that would just meet the market. Because remember, you couldn't buy the S&P. Now you could buy the S&P 500, the S&P 200, 300. You can buy any derivative of the S&P. You can buy any select fund. There was no such thing as a select fund. It was basically, if you remember American Century, 20th Century, or Fidelity, that kind of stuff. But my dad would look for funds that would match the market, because if you buy the fund that crushed the market one year, chances are they wouldn't crush the market next year because they just had a good run with what was in their portfolio, and that usually wouldn't last. I mean, I had a friend who had, Leap Wireless. You probably don't even remember Leap Wireless, and this is not the same Leap Wireless. Anyway, there was this big company. He only had 8 stocks in his whole entire fund. He managed about $200 million, and he had that 200 million up to like $1 billion, and then they went bust because he was so leveraged to the 8 or 9 holdings that he had. And again, that was the end, I think the beginning of the end of the definition of hedge funds. Hedge funds, the idea was that you would use private equity companies to hedge, and they were doing things that you normally wouldn't do as an investor. Hedge. When you buy a mutual fund, you hope your fund manager does well. He's not hedging, he's buying, and if the market does well, he does well. So my dad would always look for fund managers that would either slightly beat or slightly not beat, just come somewhere near the market over an extended period of time, because he knew that when the market would do well, he would do well, and if the market didn't do well, he would just be with the market, and it served him pretty well. But it's just funny. I'm sitting here watching the gymnastics tour. I'm glancing at my phone, and it's just like the market's going nowhere, and it's so funny that when it tries to go down, they just shut it off. It's like, oh, the market's trying to go down. You know what? Let's just shut it off. And it's like it bores you out of wanting to sell. And here's the thing about selling also, right? Let's say you have a good stock that's done you well. You sell a little bit on the way up. Well, let's say you sell all of it, and then it still is good. What do you wind up doing? You wind up buying it back. So there's never any really point to sell. So it's like, that's the thing with the market. Let's say you cash out at the highs, right? Then what? What are you going to do? You're going to wait for the dip to buy back in. And do you know how much money is on the sidelines? You always hear that? Do you know how much money comes out? Like here, everybody here. Not that many people surrounding here, but everybody owns a piece of the market, right? And at one point, everybody here, everybody you look at, will be putting money into the market, whether they know it or not. You're a teacher, your pension plan's going into the market. You work for a construction company, and they have a retirement plan. Their money's going into the market, and it's fed every week, every month. The only reason the market goes down is pure manipulation. They glom onto some fear, and the money managers hold the cash. They hold the cash. Obviously, fear. They let all the people that want to panic. All right, sure, yeah, we'll sell you out. Sure, you want to sell? Great. They store the cash up on the side, and then when it's ready to pile back in, everybody just piles back in. So the market really never goes down. I mean, it's crazy. But it's not. It's actually sane. And if you think about it, so I saw the Josh Brown, and again, Josh Brown capitulated right there on TV. So I don't want to hear him chirping. I like the guy and all, but I don't want him chirping about anything. You saw him capitulate 2 years ago in June, selling out of his Roblox. He told you to get in at 120 because this is the way to participate in the metaverse. And then he admits he's wrong at $25 a share. So he lost basically $100 a share. And right at that moment, the whole entire market turned around. The Josh Brown bottom is now infamous, in my opinion. And there he was, this guy that you're supposed to trust on CNBC. He's a wealth manager. And there he was capitulating right there in front of you on television. Nobody knows anything. And now here he is talking about how he's sure he's going to see Dow 100,000 in his lifetime. Wow. Like I said, I'll raise you. I'll say we see 200,000 in the next 30 years. Think about it. It's only 3.5, maybe 4. Imagine at 7% annually, we're at 250,000 in about 20 years. It's not a big deal. The market never goes down. You'll have a great weekend, all right? Stay sane.